Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to live boxing on Spike from the Meadowbank Arena, Edinburgh. Blaine McGuigan proud to bring you 8 rounds of international middleweight action. On the bell, our timekeeper, Jim Kirkwood. The referee for this one from Hamilton, Mr. Kenny Pringle. Introducing in the red corner, wearing blue with white trim. At the weigh-in, he scaled the 11 stone, 5 pounds, 4 ounces. From 18 contests, 9 wins. 2 wins inside the distance. Former Spanish title challenger from Madrid, España, Jose Manuel Lopez Clavero. And in the blue corner, wearing white shorts with red, he scaled 11 stone, 6 pounds, 2 ounces, has a perfect record. 8 wins from 8 contests, 2 wins inside the distance. From Kelty, Fife, Scotland, the Lawman, Conor Law.
Hey boys, I want you to listen to me all times and defend yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Touch them.
Well, 8 rounds here at middleweight between Conor Law in the red and white, boxing out of the southpaw stance, and Jose Lopez Manuel Clavero of Spain, Law from Kelty, which is a former pit village in Fife. He's got a lot of support from up there as well. He was a good amateur, boxed at the World Youth Championships, won a Scottish elite title as a senior, won a gold at the Tama tournament as well. Josh Taylor did the same in the same tournament. He thinks, Law, that they're the first 2 Scots to do it. He was an underdog to achieve that. Boxed all over the world, really, in the amateur ranks, and now under Tommy Gilmore and under the trainer Stevie Maguire. Has made a good start as a professional.
Good amateur pedigree, his Law. Been in those multi-nations tournaments, representing Scotland. And he's going to bring that into the professional game now, working well behind his jab. He's in against a very tricky opponent here. Clavero, if you watch the way he boxes, his head's from side to side. He's looking for that single shot, but he's tricky, this guy. So Law most certainly has got to work better with his jab and just tee his opponent up a little bit and find his range. But Clavero is one of those opponents who's a bit awkward. Head movement, look, single shots here and there. This should be a test for Law, this one.
Good lead right hip there from Law, and then a left to the body. There is plenty of movement, as you mentioned, there from Clavero. He's been at super welter most of his career. The last couple, though, he stepped up to middleweight. Earlier this month, he went 6 rounds with Carrie Mature in France. Mature, a decent operator, and Law just looking to get through in the neutral corner here. Long backhand, the left hand, found the target. I think it was at the end of its journey, so there wasn't too much left on it.
Bit of quality there from Law. You see, as he approached his opponent there and caught with some good shots in the corner, he didn't just go wading in, lunging in, closing the gap down. He kept his distance, and this is good stuff. He's managed just to find the space, isn't he, on the inside. He's still working with his lead hand. That's better boxing. He's not falling in on his work. So that was a good bit of impressive stuff there from Law. Good boxing.
Now Clavero a little bit open as the Spaniard had his back to the ropes. A couple of times, I think he's hurt Clavero to the body. We just saw him dip a little bit as he was right above us. We mentioned that amateur schooling, it is important, of course. It gives a fighter an ability to think his way through things, adapt to different circumstances, so used to meeting all sorts of styles. Goes into the orthodox stance now. Conor Law is on cue, just to illustrate that point. Final few seconds of the opening round, and it's been a good opening round for Conor Law. Well, that's the corner of the Lawman, Conor Law, and the trainer in there is Stevie Maguire from Glenrothes.
Nice boxing here from Law, good left hand there. Just the way he walks forward, lovely straight left again, but he just doesn't go lunging in, doesn't close his work down. Intelligent stuff with that backhand, good boxing.
Law turned professional after missing out on the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, which was a real disappointment for him. He was outpointed by Lewis Benson in a box-off for the welter spot.
Now what the corner of Clavero have said here, Andy, quite simply, just throw that right hand, step to your left, move away from the southpaw's hardest punch, which is obviously his left hand. So the corner probably told him to move to his left and throw the right hand and keep the head way to the side. That's what he's trying to do here, the odd single shot. That's why Law now is having to adjust. He's finding his opponent a little bit awkward. So it's good tactics from the Spanish corner there. Just sending their man out, throwing that right hand, stepping to the left. The problem he's got now, he's got to watch he doesn't walk onto a right hook. But up to now, again, he's proving awkward.
Another up-and-coming middleweight on the far side of the ring, Conrad Cummings, just a couple of spaces down from St George Groves. He's back in action on November the 18th against Edward Gutneck. That should be a really interesting fight. And Law, again, just reaching with that left hand, just caught Clavero slightly on the top of the head that time, but he's getting through with it. A good movement too, just turning his man, trying to vary the angle.
Yeah, nice boxing. Just got to watch he doesn't overreach and miss the target. He's got to be accurate with his work as Law. But he's got good judgment of distance. If you watch him, now and again, he'll take a backward step just to increase the distance between himself and his opponent, and that's why he's finding his range better now, his Law. And that's all done behind that right jab, that right lead. You see how he adjusted his feet there as he came back? That's from his amateur days, that is, no question.
Lovely short right hand there from Law. Clavero was just caught a little bit open. There was some blood coming from the nose of the Spaniard at the end of that first round, and I think he's feeling the accuracy of Conor Law at the moment. He's been sparring John McCallum. Conor Law, amongst others, some good amateurs in the gym as well. Has to fit training in around work. He works in the stores of the Queen Elizabeth boat down in the boatyards. Not easy. It's a graft getting up to do your runs and going to a 10-hour shift and then heading back to the gym, but he's in terrific shape.
Bit of success from both boxers here. Law's finding the target with that straight left hand. That's good. But his opponent's a little bit wild here and there, Clavero. He's throwing that swinging right hand over the top. He's also landed with the odd left hook here and there. And boxing so unorthodox in terms of his head movement. You don't know where he's going to come from. So Law's done well here just to adjust to a very tricky opponent in front of him.
The trainer doesn't take any nonsense. He walked out of the corner once because his fighter wasn't boxing to instructions and the fighter was his son.
He has no messing, does he? But here, Law finding the target there, those straight left. Good work. Just gets caught with that left hook at the end.
Alex Arthur over the other side of the ring as well. Flew the flag for Edinburgh on the world stage a few years back now. Still very much a part of Scottish boxing, British boxing.
Clavero again there on the boxing from that crouch position, which is a bit awkward, but the mistake he makes, he keeps crossing his legs. When he's throwing that right hand, he brings that right leg of his through, and that's when he becomes square, and that's when he's got to watch he doesn't walk onto either a left uppercut or a straight left hand. He's open then, his target's more open to his opponent. Once that right leg comes round, it all depends if he hits the target with the right hand. If he misses, the leg comes through, that's when he can be in trouble. And watch what he's doing.
Nice little slip there from Clavero, just to move away to his right-hand side. Good upper body movement from Law. Not a huge amount of weight on some of these punches, but they're accurate digs. That's how you describe them, really. They just chip away, and they probably have a bit more impact than they appear to sitting where we are. Clavero tries to pump away to the body himself.
And he's still fairly dangerous, Clavero, in at close quarters. Swinging away, the bent arm stuff. If one lands, then who knows? That's why Law has just got to be sensible and box behind that right jab of his and set things up. I think Clavero, he looks to be tiring a little bit now, this Spanish boxer, but he's still dangerous. See shots like that, and see how he's missing the target there, and that leg comes through. He got away with it then, but he's tiring now, the Spaniard.
He's looking for an uppercut there, Law. It didn't quite manage to find the target. He was just a little bit too far away for it. His hometown of Kelty, he was telling me on the phone yesterday, really get behind him. Important for young fighters, of course, to sell tickets. He was on this bill, then he was off again, then he was back on again. He's had about 4 weeks notice for it.
I think they've got a decent boxer here in Law. I like the look of him. Behind that right jab, sensible boxing, setting himself up. See, this opponent's still in it though, isn't he? Clavero still comes back with the odd shot here and there. So again, it's another good learning fight, this one.
There's a good left to the body there from Clavero.
It's the type of contest as well, Andy, where you can't get too carried away. He's doing well here now, Lord. This is better work. But if you let your opponent recover, then he comes back with the odd shot here and there.
There was a good right hand to the top of the head there from Law, which just seemed to stagger Clavero for a second. That kind of shot can take a fighter's legs away at times. And it's a good finish to this 3 minutes for Conor Law. Well, back in that Conor Law corner, it's been good cultured stuff from the man who's got the good amateur pedigree.
Yeah, he's listening to his corner, isn't he? Very intently there. But Clavero's still showing that he's in this contest. Got some better work from Law at the end of the round. Nice, sensible jab right at the end of that sequence.
Well, in the second pro fight, Conor Law, who's in the red and white, and he was paired with William Warburton, who is one of those fighters, one of the many fighters we have on the British circuit who is so much better than his record suggests. And he put Warburton down in the second round, which not many people managed to do. Warburton got through the rounds. Another good outing as well. He outpointed Matthew Mallin, who was 9-2-1 at the time. He challenged for the English title and has since won the Central Area middleweight title. I did ask Law yesterday how far away he feels he is from looking for a Scottish title, a Celtic title, something like that, and he wouldn't really commit. He said he leaves that all to the trainer, to the promoter, which is a sensible answer.
Indeed. Clavero now is coming out. I think he's realised he's a little bit too far out, and that's why he's trying to get a little bit closer to Law. But that's better boxing again from Law on the outside. But Clavero, he realises he's probably a little bit too far away, so he's edging forward. And that's why he's just trying to paw with that left hand. He's not actually looking to land that big right hand of his, but he's struggling against the southpaw style. And as long as Law can keep those jabs going and bringing him onto shots like that, then he'll be okay. But here, Clavero, he's still dangerous. There's that right uppercut. Look, that's a good shot there from the Spaniard. But it's finally dawned on him here that he's got to be closer to land shots against Law. But again, good boxing from Law. And he's not, like I said, he's not lunging in, Andy, so it's good work. He's just creating and maintaining the gap between himself and his opponent.
Just managed to keep Clavero back in the corner there without really doing much as well. Clavero was trying to move his head, trying to keep himself on the move. He's very balanced, Law, in his attacks, but also in his stance, looking for right to the body. There again, he just looked for that uppercut, Clavero. Bit of blood coming from the nose, but that's been the same since the end of the first round. It's never really increased in flow. There's a solid looking left to the body there from Law, but Clavero took it okay, but just being ragdolled along the ropes there a little bit.
Obviously, we're only halfway through this contest, so that's why Law is just probably saving a little bit in the tank here. But the signs for me, Clavero is getting more and more tired. He needs to throw the shots, Law, in 2s and 3s now and sustain a little bit more pressure. But Clavero, he's still awkward and looking for the odd single shot here and there, but he's struggling, this Spanish boxer, against the southpaw style. Can't get close to his opponent.
Prendido.
Clavero's corner just telling him to try and keep that head on the move, I think, in the second half of the fight.
Some good work here from Law, but just gets caught with that right uppercut. So Clavero just showing Law that he's still in this, but this was better work now from Law, maintaining that gap.
Into the second half of the fight, Conor Law, 8-0 so far from Kelty in the red and white. The southpaw, Jose Lopez Manuel Clavero from Madrid, 32 years old, in the blue and white. And Law has dictated terms so far, but it's been competitive. Law again just trying to pop out that backhand. Just got caught by Wright himself there as he looked to take the weight back.
Bit of success there from Clavero. Clever stuff from him, just stepping in and Law just walking onto that right hand. So again, maybe it's going to take a little bit longer. Remember, it's at the start of the round, so his opponent's a little bit fresher, but Law again getting back to his rhythm. I've been impressed with his lead hand work tonight, Law, and his straight punches when he's keeping that gap between himself and his opponent. And he's boxing very well indeed. Maybe has to bring the left uppercut into play as well now when they come in at close quarters. But that's where he's got to watch it. That's where Clavero can land a shot. Look there, that right hand nearly got through. So he's just got to keep that gap a little bit more as Law. But Clavero, he's having a bit of success now close up.
Little bit of a lazy left hand there from Law, who just pops out that southpaw jab again. Clavero stooping, comes in with that right over the top. A bit more blood coming from the nose now of Clavero, but nothing to overly concern him, I don't think. Just overbalanced a bit, fell in a bit behind that right hand.
Remember, that right hand of the orthodox opponent has to travel further to hit the target, and that's why the legs cross, because he can carry the momentum through. He can reach further when he brings his right leg through, but it's a fault, Andy, it really is. And Law's got to pick up on it. He's got away with it up to now, Clavero. That's better work. That was a solid left hand there from Law.
And they just sent Clavero back into the ropes a touch, but he used them well. Stepped away to his right-hand side and moves away from them, more into the centre of the ring. Right hand. Just about reached the target there from Clavero. This is his first 8-rounder, Conor Law. He's done 6 before, but he's not done 8. He certainly looks like he's been working hard in the gym. It's a daily grind when you have to fit it around that day job. Flurry to the body, finishes on a left just in behind the elbow. Well taken though by Clavero. That's a good left hand from Law, and he's teeing off a little bit here on Clavero, but Clavero throwing some punches back and trying to move that head, is doing a decent enough job of staying out of trouble. Clavero looks in pretty good shape to me as we're heading towards the later stages of this contest. 18 fights, 9 wins, 8 defeats so far in his career, 1 draw as well. Into round 6, and Law quickly into the centre of the ring.
That's where he should be throwing that left uppercut, Andy, as his opponent walks forward like that. So Law's got to concentrate a little bit more when his opponent's coming forward and missing the target. He's got to bring him onto that left uppercut. But it's a good contest to learn your trade in. He's against someone who's a bit ragged, dangerous, certainly dangerous up close, and at times looks like he's there for the taking, but then he comes back. So yeah, he'll learn a lot from this. Conor Law, his first 8-rounder.
2 stoppages in his 8 wins so far would suggest it's not always the case, that maybe power is something he needs to work on a little bit. Just banging home that left hand and cuffing Clavero around the top of the head with the right hand as well. Could he maybe sit down on his punches a bit more? He pops them off the shoulder a bit at times.
Well, maybe so, but also I think he should concentrate more on bringing his opponent onto the shot. Especially here, Clavero comes forward Like there, look, he's got away with it again. That's when you've got to punish your opponent there. He's gone more for safety in that he's adjusted his own feet and he's kept the gap. Maybe then adjust the feet not so much and just bring him on to the heavier shots.
Leaping in with the left hook there, Clavero.
He's doing okay up to now, is Law, Andy. The problem you got when you do sit on your punches, of course, then you bring your opponent into it. You're there to be hit yourself. So you've got to put your opponent away if you're sitting on your shots and holding your feet more. And that gives your opponent more of a chance to land his shots. So he's doing well up to now. But Clavero, yeah, he's a danger. And I'd just probably like to see Law probably put 3s and 4s together rather than the singles.
Left to the body there from Clavero. Law just falling short, caught a right hand as he was looking to throw that southpaw jab. Lead right uppercut there from Law. Again, just sails a few inches short of the target. Trying to measure the distance for that backhand, that southpaw left hand there, Law, which can do so much damage. It's amazing how often it just snakes through.
I think he's boxed very sensibly throughout this contest, as Conor Law. It's just that at times he's got to recognise when just to do probably a little bit more.
Bell goes at the end of the 6th. Let's have a quick listen in to the blue corner, see what Stephen Maguire's got to say. Well, there's Alex Arthur, as I said, well-known face around the Scottish boxing scene, the British boxing scene, Edinburgh native, former world champion, of course, very active pundit too, always interesting to listen to his views on boxing in general. Very good amateur himself before he turned professional. So into the 7th round, and this is uncharted territory for Conor Law. This is his first 8-rounder, but he's boxed sensibly so far. We've done this many, many times in the gym, but as any fighter will tell you, the gym and fight night are two very different things. The amount of nervous energy you burn, you expend, makes it just that much more tiring, no matter who the opponent. And Clavero's been a decent opponent. He's looked dangerous every now and again. Right to the body there from Law, then a straight left hand, and again with the right to the body. This is good stuff.
Good tempo change there from Law, worked well to the body, and then finishing that sequence off again with a lovely straight left hand. So showing good variation here, Law. Switching downstairs, hurt his opponent then. And then back to that straight stuff. And I think Clavero again is just feeling the pace a little bit, this Spanish boxer. So the way he's getting up close there, just taking a bit of a breather there. That's mainly because he took some good heavy shots from his opponent. He's a deceiving boxer, Clavero. There's been times throughout this contest where he looks like he's had enough sometimes, but he comes back. Lands the odd shot, even in the corner. The body language looks a little bit bad. He's puffing away. Puffing and puffing, should I say.
Law was looking for the uppercut there, it didn't quite land. The head movement has just slowed down a bit there from Clavero, but as I say that, he just gets himself moving again and makes himself difficult to hit. And every now and again he does slow down a bit, but then he seems to remember what he needs to continue to do, what's worked well for him up until this point. Chopping down with the right hand there, Clavero as well.
When Law boxes in bursts, he's boxing very well, but then when he just steps off the gas and he allows his opponent to recover, that seems to suit Clavero. He just has enough time then just to regroup and look for the odd single here and there.
Left hand there from Clavero was a smearing kind of a shot, but it did catch Law, not that heavily, but it did.
Just got to watch the heads don't clash also on you here. Heads are coming close again. Both boxers are getting tired. And when the styles meet, the southpaw and orthodox, and when the boxers tire, then heads can clash.
He's taking a step away to his right-hand side there, Law, to try and vary the angle a bit. Nice 1-2 there from Law right at the conclusion of round 7. So 3 minutes to go in this one.
Good round again. I've given him every round here. Conor Law, lovely left uppercut to the body and a left uppercut to the head, and then a straight, and there's that straight left hand there, look. Just showing he can do a bit of both. Downstairs, lovely work, accuracy with that left hand. But his body work in this round was very impressive also. Lovely 1-2 right at the end of the round, just to finish the round off.
Just say your mind, you can step up. Step up, just make sure you tell us. That's right, okay?
Just trying to soak up that blood. A bit's been coming from that beak since the end of the first round, but Clavero, as the two touch gloves, has brought it here, and he's given Conor Law a good fight. It's been a good bit of matchmaking. I've not seen Clavero before. He's not been in a British ring before. I'm pretty confident in saying that.
Yeah, he's decent, he's tough. And he's given Conor Law the test that we thought he would. But remember, this is only his 9th fight, Conor Law, and I think it's been a very beneficial contest indeed in terms of learning against a stubborn opponent.
Well, just pushing Clavero back. He's a way off British level yet, Conor Law. He's got more learning to do, but it's an interesting scenario at the minute. There's a bit of a vacuum because Eubank Jr. vacated, of course. Nick Blackwell, as we know, is unable to box any longer, so Tommy Langford will be in against Sam Sheedy. That's been rescheduled for the end of November for the vacant now British title. Anthony Ogogo, who fights tomorrow night, has got an eliminator coming up, should all go well, against Craig Cunningham, and that's not guaranteed. That's a good fight. He's got an eliminator coming up against Elliot Matthews, so things change very, very quickly, and you don't want to look too far ahead, but it always pays to just keep your eye on what is going on. Just a slight bit of marking up underneath the right eye of Conor Law. It's nothing to get excited about in any way, but it just shows that Clavero has got through. This has been a proper fight.
It's been a good contest. It's one that Law has dominated for most of the rounds, but occasionally you just see Clavero come back here. Look now, Law again finishing strong here. Good work, just maintains that gap again. Doesn't go lunging in, but when he comes up close, you see, that's when Clavero can land the odd shot.
For the most part, his judgment of distance has been good, hasn't it?
Very good.
He did catch Clavero just on the way in there as well with the left hand, but he can take a shot, Clavero, because it just ricocheted off him, and then he was close enough just to smother those punches and grab hold when he needed to. He's a clever fighter, Clavero. You can see how he's picked up some wins, certainly, and you can see how he's gone the distance against better caliber opponents.
He's only been stopped 2 or 3 times, hasn't he? So he's a tough, durable guy. But yeah, I have been impressed with Conor Law tonight, and he boxed very well behind his jab. Well schooled, like I said before, that will have come from his amateur days. He's been coached very well on the amateur ranks, and he's taking it through now, and he's learning in this contest. And yeah, I think the kid's got a good future.
Into the final 10 seconds. He was a teammate for Scotland with Josh Taylor, who we'll see later on. As the bell goes at the end of the 8th round, touch gloves between these two, big embrace, and always good to see, but they shared a good hard battle there. There's no doubt that Conor Law has won it, but that's a really good fight for him at this stage of his career. It'll be 9 fights and 9 wins now, but he's done 8 for the first time, and Clavero has probably taught him a thing or two in there, I'd say.
Absolutely, he's gone 8 rounds, as you said, for the first time, but he's had a tough 8 rounds there. He didn't have it all his own way. Boxed very well in spurts, did Conor Law, and I liked his variation behind his straight shots, the uppercuts to the body, the hooks, maintain that gap between himself and his opponent so he could do his work. Yeah, but he was against an opponent who was always in it, dangerous, the odd shot here and there, so it was a good test for him, and at this stage of his career, very good indeed.
Good win, as we say, and Clavero, I'm sure we'll see him again. Cyclo have made a bit of a habit of this, actually. The last few shows I've worked on for them of finding opponents who we've not seen before in this country, who have really come over and done exactly what has been not asked of them, but exactly what they'd hoped they would do, which is push the prospects hard and give them a proper fight.
He'll certainly be asked back with that performance, Andy. Clavero, no question, he'll be asked back.
Just working to get those gloves off. Conor Law, I'm sure, will be hoping to get back out as soon as possible. Just a little bit of swelling underneath that right eye. Christmas coming up, not too far away. You generally don't tend to get too much boxing in January due to the fact that nobody really wants to train over Christmas. And Clavero getting a good round of applause from the crowd here, and that's good to see. He deserves it. Well, one man who is fighting in January, or so we believe, towards the end of January, is Carl Frampton, who will be in the arena later on, probably already is. That rematch with Leo Santa Cruz, I was reading, set for January the 28th. Terrific performance the first time around. Conor Law just finally getting those gloves taken off, but we're going to go to our MC, Craig Stephen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee's scorecard reads 80 points to 72 in favour of the winner, still undefeated from County Scotland, the Lowland Conor Law. And ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you want to show your appreciation. The man from Spain,